They are in Saturday, Buffalo and New York at the KeyBank Center, the main event. Light heavyweight rematch, Daniel Cormier, our buddy, and Anthony Rumble Johnson. And Dana's joining us. This is your second UFC fight in New York State. Now, you've done a lot in L.A. and a lot in Nevada. Dana, you're transitioning into New York. What has that been like behind the scenes?
This is our fourth. This is actually our fourth fight in New York. Yeah, and it's been great. I mean, it's been a long time coming, and it's actually been really good. Buffalo's going to sell out this weekend too, and New York's been good to us so far.
It's interesting that Cormier replaced your champion John Jones. And, John was electric and dynamic, and Cormier's never been embraced by fans, despite the fact he's outstanding. Muhammad Ali wasn't just because he was great, Dana. He had style. Do you worry sometimes that how big, I guess, is style to your fighters? Because clearly Cormier's a monster, but he wrestles, he pins, the crowd sometimes hisses. Is part of McGregor just dude's interesting?
Yeah. It's the weirdest thing ever that he has not been embraced by the fans. He's a great guy. He's very well spoken, and his fights are exciting. Cormier is an exciting fighter. It's a weird thing. They like the bad boy John Jones. Last time we had a press conference with those two, they were cheering John Jones and booing Cormier. It's fascinating. But yeah, I don't get it, but.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. I always ask you about McGregor because he is so transformative. I mean, he every day another story came out about Mayweather today, and it makes Mayweather look bad. And I find McGregor to be incredibly likable, win or lose against Nate Diaz. I find him fascinating. And Mayweather had another story today where his daughter lost some competition, and it was really an ugly moment. I wonder now if you are still... is Mayweather necessarily important or good for your business? His brand now, Dana, is getting so bad and so negative. I wonder if Mayweather's even worth the headache for UFC.
Yeah, well, it's a fight that people do want to see. It's intriguing, and obviously it's a fight that Conor wants because financially it's going to be massive for him. And McGregor is a guy, he's a fighter that I have a lot of respect for. This guy has stepped up in times that people that were at his level would never step up. And I've said this a million times, and I'll say it again. I'm the guy standing in the living room. I'm the guy on the phone. When these guys are looking down the barrel of a new opponent a week before the fight, and Conor McGregor doesn't flinch. This kid steps up. He'll fight anybody, anywhere, anytime. A lot of people say it. Very few really mean it. Conor McGregor is I call him the unicorn, man. I've never dealt with a kid like this. So for him to have this opportunity to make this kind of money and, this type of a fight that people are so interested in worldwide, I almost feel like I have to make it.
Despite the NFL's popularity, when the quarterback play, Favre retires, Peyton Manning retires, it hurts the league. You are going to be as viable, Dana, as the fighters you produce. The more
right.
the more talent, better look. I mean, Oscar De La Hoya, men and women wanted to watch him fight. There was a real appeal. How do you ensure through academies, training? I mean, how do you ensure that you have 6 more McGregors in the next 7 years?
I'll probably never have another McGregor. Everybody's different in their own way. Everybody's unique. I'm not going to have 6 more unicorns. I can promise you that. But I will have other stars. People have been saying to me since, oh my God, what are you going to do when Chuck Liddell's gone? Oh my God, what are you going to do when Matt Hughes gone? What's going to happen to the UFC when GSP goes away? The list goes on and on. I've been hearing that stuff for years. That's what I do. That's my job, is to go out and find new talent and build it. And
where do you find it?
Everywhere. Well, it's getting easier now than it ever was. Nobody knew Conor McGregor 4 years ago. 4 years ago, people didn't even know who Conor McGregor was. Now that the sport is getting bigger and it's so global, Men, women, and children, kids from a young age are training in mixed martial arts. Kids that would have played soccer or basketball or football or baseball are training in mixed martial arts all over the world. I am going to continue to find, the best fighters in the world, male and female. It's what I do.
Main event this Saturday in Buffalo at the KeyBank Center, light heavyweight rematch. Our buddy Daniel D.C. Cormier and Anthony Rumble Johnson. It's funny. I said this about 2 months ago. I said, I don't think it would be the worst idea is as Dana White grows this, that if you're going to have 6 people on a card, I mean, you were the person that pushed for women boxing, and you told me initially you didn't know how people would respond to it. You weren't even comfortable initially, and then you're like, oh, my God, it's a real business.
Yeah.
Is it a terrible idea that if you had a 6-fight card, one of those fights, maybe the first one of the night, was a former NFL guy, that taking athletes in other sports almost as exhibitions, J.J. Watt retires, you get him in a fight, that you took a gamble on the female division, and hell, there were nights it was bigger than the male division, that maybe a business opportunity for you, to get recently retired NFL guys who have a background in wrestling or boxing. Is that a terrible idea?
Yeah, no, it's not a terrible idea, but it's much better if you get people who have been training. So believe me, we've done the NFL. We've had a couple of NFL guys who played in the NFL, fight in the UFC. And listen, they did okay. They're not going to be world champions or huge stars or anything. They did okay. I think that when you find people who have been training in mixed martial arts their whole life, those are the ones that are going to be great. Those are the ones that are going to be the big stars. I just don't see anybody coming in, from the NFL and being incredibly. Imagine if you had a guy like Gronk, who's been training since he was a kid. Even in basketball, if you had a guy like LeBron, who trained in mixed martial arts since he was a kid. These incredible athletes would definitely do well in the UFC. Yeah. But just bringing an NFL guy over, yeah.
Yeah, I think what you always find out about UFC, it's way harder than people think.
Absolutely.
I mean, every guy that's ever been in a bar fight, he thinks he can go in these octagons. And it's like when you go to one of your events, like in Buffalo, the quality of the fighting, that's one thing, Dana, that's so obvious to me. The quality not only of your events, but the individual, we think skill level, we think soccer, baseball. The skill level of your fighters today and 12 years ago. It's incredible how much greater it is.
Thank you.
It's incredible. I remember being in a bar in San Francisco 17 years ago and seeing fights and thinking, boy, that's rough. Your guys now are, like, was there a moment for you when you left a card and thought, God, this is real. These are skilled, world-class athletes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And obviously the men have been at that level for a long time. What's really blown me away lately are the women. Like I said, I didn't see the women thing coming, and these women are so tough, so technical, so talented, and it just keeps getting better and better. It's funny because on this card, actually in Buffalo this weekend, there's a girl, she's from Team Alpha Male, and her name is Cynthia Calvillo, right? And she fought on the Wonderboy Thompson Woodley card. I was so blown away and so impressed by her that I'm actually bringing her back already in Buffalo, taking on a girl named Pearl Gonzalez. And I'm actually really excited for that fight. We got Chris Weidman versus Gegard Mousasi. We got Cormier versus Anthony Johnson. Miles Jury's coming back. He's in the main event on Fox Sports 1, and I'm more excited about the girls' fight.
Yeah. Dana White, the president of UFC in Buffalo. You're from that area anyway. You like that snow stuff, right? What is it?
I don't like the snow stuff. No, I don't.
31 degrees there today? Or what?
No, I'm good with that. No, I'm good with that.
Good talking to you, Dana.